I'm back.
Hi, Faith. Just a sec. This is the good bit.
Bill?
Hang on.
What do you mean, the good bit?
He's just found her alone in the empty house and his face has started to melt.
What? This is a video nasty. Turn it off.
Just a minute.
Mom? Joe, there's some shopping in the hall. Would you take it into the kitchen and unpack it, please?
Why don't you just say you want to get rid of me?
I want to get rid of you.
Can I watch the end of the film?
Joe?
It was Bill's idea.
Oh, don't ever apply for the Secret Service, Joe.
It's very irresponsible of you.
I know I should be working, but I had a meeting with the printers up the road, so I just knocked off early.
I'm not talking about your working hours.
Talking about the film.
Exactly. It's terrible. It's salacious, violent, the language is disgusting.
And it is offensive in its attitude to women.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, there you are. That's another reason, then.
You didn't sound as if you needed one.
Joe shouldn't be watching films like this, let alone with the approval of his parents.
Well, I'm not his parent.
Well, we will be any day now.
You mean you still want to marry me after I've corrupted your son with Revenge of the Globules?
I hate films like this.
Now, don't vacillate, Faith. Tell me what you really think.
I think you should know better.
Look, Joe brought this video home quite openly. He'd been lent it by a friend, and I suggested we watched it together.
Well, he'd have hidden it from me.
Because he knows you have all the tolerance of a clamped motorist when it comes to things like this. The film was nearly over. I was about to discuss what a load of rubbish it was.
Really?
And in walked Miss Army Boots, confiscated it, sent Joe to detention, and left me sitting here like a prawn.
Did I?
You know you did. You didn't think about my dignity for a minute.
What's that got to do with it?
I am trying my best to become a stepfather, and it would help if you had the courtesy to assume that I have a little common sense and stop behaving like a prissy old headmistress.
Sorry.
Louder.
Sorry.
I'll take 100 lines. Look before you leap.
Don't push your luck, Bill.
What do you want, Liza?
How did you know it was me?
I was alerted by the clank of your costume jewellery.
I never wear costume jewellery. Every one of these items has been listed in a sales catalogue.
Oh, you're paying for them monthly, then?
I never buy my own jewels.
No, you demand them with menaces.
Well, if you're going to be nasty, I'm leaving. Well,
I'm going to be nasty, so leave. If you're waiting for me to drag something out of you, Liza, I haven't got the time. What's up?
how sensitively put.
Well?
I've cut all my ties with Clive.
You cut all my ties once, I remember.
That was when you were being beastly to me about the telephone bill.
Well, it was over £1,000.
I was trying to get that carpet from Morocco.
I could have lashed it to a camel and brought it back on the QE2 cheaper.
I have never known anybody harbour a grudge for so long. It was so embarrassing to explain that my husband had put a lock on the telephone.
Well, I am no longer your husband, so you can run up all the telephone bills you like.
No, I can't. I'm homeless.
Homeless as a cardboard box under the railway arches, Liza. You are not homeless. You are merely between penthouses.
Clive's buying my share of the flat from me.
Well, that'll take some time.
He wrote me a cheque over breakfast. He said he didn't like long goodbyes.
And when have you got to leave?
Before dinner.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Liza. But there's nothing I can do.
Well, what's happening to our old flat?
What?
Our old flat. You still have it, don't you?
Well, I'm trying to sell that.
Good.
No.
Sell it to me.
No again.
That's not very businesslike of you. I'm a potential purchaser.
You are a potential disaster.
I know the flat. We chose it together. I love it, and you don't want it anymore.
I might.
Oh, Bill, don't be childish. This is a business deal.
Why don't you go to live in Borneo or Brighton even?
What's wrong with me buying the flat?
Well, apart from the fact that I don't want you to buy it, it's not very considerate of Faith to sell it to you, is it?
Oh, I see. We have to worry about Faith, of course.
Yes, we do. At least I do.
Does she see me as a threat?
She doesn't see you at all, as far as I know.
Perhaps she's worried there's still a smouldering ember between us.
The only smouldering ember between us is our marriage certificate.
Look, I know it will be poignant for you to think of me back there again, where we started our life's road together.
Before you took the scenic route.
But don't let your heart rule your head. Just think of me as the answer to your dreams. Property-wise, of course.
Ta-da!
Oh, great timing. The moussaka's just perfect.
That makes two of us, then. Little present?
Champagne twice in a year. You do spoil me.
Sarcasm is an ugly trait in a woman.
Are we celebrating something?
We are indeed. I have sold the flat.
Oh, Bill, that's wonderful news. Did you get the asking price?
I did.
What are the people like?
Person.
Person.
She's a woman.
Yes.
A businesswoman.
Oh, I hope she'll look after your petunias.
I think it's unlikely.
You're being a bit funny about this. Do I know her?
Almost.
Oh, is it someone I don't like?
Well, I wouldn't say you didn't like her. I'd say you loathed her.
You've sold it to Liza.
How did you guess?
Bill, how could you?
I know, but you know what the property market is like at the moment, and Liza knows the flat, and she's paid cash.
Well, I hope you asked for 2,000 over the asking price.
Why?
Well, emotional trauma.
Certainly not. I don't believe in exploiting people.
But Liza isn't people. She's a parasite. She'd be doing a public service.
Well, I would consider that immoral, and I thought you were supposed to be pretty hot on morals.
I am about most things.
Yeah, you've certainly clipped me around the ear often enough, and my standards have dropped in front of the children.
But Liza doesn't count anyway. How do you think I feel about this?
I'm beginning to get an inkling.
I bet you threw in the carpets and curtains.
Well, I couldn't charge her for them. She chose them.
Practically gave this flat to your ex-wife.
Don't
And now you
exaggerate.
expect me to be thrilled about it.
No, I think I can honestly say I didn't expect you to be thrilled, but I did think you might have had the sense to realise that you can't turn down a genuine offer at the moment.
She'd be on the phone, you know, every 5 minutes asking you to go around and put shelves up.
She said you'd react like this.
Oh, you talk about me, do you?
Only in glowing terms.
Bill. You see what she does? She makes us fight. We don't usually fight.
Yes, we do. It's quite fun. I enjoy the making up.
I mean, fight like this.
Look, she's not worth it.
Oh, I wanted to say that.
Look, Faith, I love you and I'm about to marry you. Selling the flat is my last break with the past. From now on, I'm going to fling myself into family life completely.
Oh, well, here's your chance then.
To do what?
Fling yourself into family life. Saturday week, the school fete, I said we'd do a stall each.
If you think I'm in no position to object after what I just said, you're right.
Mum, can I have a word?
Oh, Hannah, I'm absolutely up to my eyes. I've got to finish this by tomorrow. Can't it wait?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, look, is it, about women's things?
What?
Well, is it a physical thing you're worried about?
You mean like sex or spots or PMT?
Well, that sort of area, yes.
No, it's more about life and living.
Well, why don't you talk to Bill about it? He's lived enough.
Bill?
Yes. He's nearly your stepfather and he'd like to get more involved.
Would he?
Yes, I'm sure he would.
Oh, okay.
Every one of these is a bill. Just now and then I'd like to get a letter saying, "Dear Mr. McGregor, there's a crate of Bollinger in the next post for you."
Talking to yourself is the first sign of madness.
And why are they all addressed to Mr. Greyshot?
Ah, that happens when you take up with a woman with a past. What do you think of these?
Ah, it's a pretty good sketch, Hannah. Excellent perspective.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got your mother's talent. They'll certainly notice you at university.
I'm not going.
What?
I don't want to go.
I see. Does your mother know?
What do you think?
Well, obviously not. The walls are still standing.
I'm just not ready for more study. I want to live a bit before I get old.
Oh, so do I. But it seems such a shame throwing everything up. I mean, it's not very practical or rational.
Well, you threw everything up for Mum. That wasn't very practical or rational.
Or economical.
Well, then. Trouble is, both Mum and Dad went to university, and she thinks I should do the same.
Well, I'm sure that's not the only reason. She wants you to have the best possible start in life, and university will help you.
Well, you didn't go to university.
No, I left school at 16 to draw cartoons.
Well, you did all right.
Well, I think your mother would want something better for you than buying drinks for editors in order to get work.
Is that how you became an art editor?
In a word, eventually.
So what do you think I should do?
Well, I'm not your father. I can't say what he'd say.
Oh, he'd say, don't I know you from somewhere?
Oh, come on now, Hannah. I'm sure he's very interested in you.
Well, Mum's always been the one I could talk to.
Well, perhaps maybe you feel you can talk to me now.
It's okay, Bill. You don't have to sound like the school careers officer.
All right. Well, it just seems to me if you don't want to go to university, don't go. I've always believed in following my instincts. And my instincts tell me that we are being followed.
Anyone making coffee?
Oh, in other words, will someone make me a cup?
Thank you, Hannah. Did you have a nice chat?
Yes?
Well?
Well, Bill's really fed up with getting letters addressed to Mr. Greyshot.
And Hannah doesn't want to go to university.
What? Why didn't you tell me about this?
Well, you said I should talk to Bill.
Did I? I did. Well, We'll talk about it now, then.
We've talked about it.
Hannah seems old enough to decide for herself.
Oh, well. If that's what you want.
This woman looks like my mother. She doesn't act like my mother.
What do you mean?
Well, I thought you'd hit the roof.
No, Bill's right. You're old enough to make up your own decisions.
Oh, well, thanks.
If you want to throw up a golden opportunity, never get a decent job, end up in the gutter and live a life of regret, far be it from me to stand in your way, Hannah.
That's my mother.
How could you? How
What?
could you? Well, I asked her to come and talk to you, not tell her
Hello.
I wasn't off going to
Hang on.
university.
It's
It's not
Mr. McGregor.
Oh, well, at least somebody's got my name right.
It's Liza.
She would. She's still using it.
Probably just wants me to show her over the flat.
If it was a cliff, I'd come and help.
Ah, memory.
Oh, now don't start all that, Liza.
I see you haven't changed my colour scheme.
The cost of this wallpaper, it's going to stay up there till it rots.
Looks smaller somehow and a little seedy.
Oh, don't tell me you don't want it now.
Of course I do. I'm just saying, standards have slipped a bit since I was in residence. And this could be the reason.
Dennis, I've been trying to phone you.
Oh, watcha, Bill. Oh, look, I'm sorry about the mess. I've been walkabout in Streatham.
Well, I wanted to tell you that I was coming over today.
You've come about the rent.
Well, not necessarily, but it's not a bad idea.
Yesterday I had it. Then I met this poor guy in the Black Line. He's got a wife and 4 children in Durham and no way of getting back there, so I gave him the trade fare. 100 quid.
That's first class.
Is it? I've never understood the class system here. Back in Oz, we're all in together, you know? Dogs, women, no discrimination.
How enlightened.
And who's the little lady?
Little lady.
Oh, this is Liza. She's moving in.
Well, now you're talking. I don't mind sharing. Which side of the bed do you like?
Liza, this is Dennis. He's an Australian.
Surely not.
I like a woman with flaring nostrils. It reminds me of a horse I once had. Took a lot to break her, but boy, it was worth it.
And if you ever do that again, I'll break your arm.
Well, I'm glad to see that you two have broken the ice.
I think she's just broken my cheekbone.
That probably means that she likes you.
I didn't realise creatures like you still existed outside the Natural History Museum.
Yes, she likes you.
There aren't many women can resist the hot-blooded Australian male.
I find it very easy to resist both you and your continent.
She's a tough one, Bill. Where'd you find her?
It's a long story.
Now, may I look at the kitchen? I'll have it fumigated naturally.
Help yourself, you know the way.
Bill, does she have to live here?
I'm afraid so. She's bought it.
Bought it? I thought she was just another tenant. Oh, Bill, mate, how could you do this to me?
Nothing personal, Dennis. I just had to sell the flat. I told you it was a short-term let.
Oh, you did, mate, I know. It's the shock. I've just got in the cribbage team down the pub.
Maybe she'll let you stay on after she's moved in, eh? If you ask her nicely.
Well, it could be interesting sharing with her. She's not always like this, is she?
No. Sometimes she can be really nasty.
Like a laboratory. There are unpleasant cultures growing all over the place, and I can imagine from which unpleasant culture they came.
You can't get the staff these days.
Look, there's something erupting in this beer glass.
It's a test tube wallaby. Any movement could be fatal.
Yes, well, I think I've seen enough. I'll give you 2 weeks' notice,
Dennis,
to leave.
that isn't fair.
Why?
Just give me a week. Better still, I'll evict myself.
Well, that's very accommodating of you. I'll wait in the car, Bill. I need some fresh air.
You don't have to leave in such a hurry. Stay on till you find somewhere else.
No, it's okay, Bill. I couldn't stay. I got a touch of deja vu. Her distasteful expression when she looked in my beer glass reminded me of my first wife.
I'll have a look at them when I finish this. Tell me about them.
Well, there's voluntary service overseas, Camp America, and this book on working abroad.
All sound very exciting.
I'm not sure what to go for.
We'll start with the one that pays your airfare.
I can't believe you're so calm about me not going to university.
Any minute now, the mask will slip and I'll send you to bed without any tea.
Don't you really mind?
Yes, I do really mind, actually, if you want the truth, Hannah, but, well, I have to admit, Bill is right some of the time when he says you should be in charge of your life.
It does make a change. He treats us like adults.
Oh, and I don't, you mean?
Well, you treat us like your children, which we are, of course. Except when we get older and become adults like now, when we're not children anymore, are we, really?
I think you should go to university to study the English language.
I'm never going, it's stupid.
Hello, Joe. What's stupid?
University.
With this kind of penetrating observation, you'll probably get a chair in philosophy.
Got any cake?
You're a very basic person. You should set your mind on higher things.
Well, like hang gliding.
Mum, tell him.
Switch it off and stop irritating Hannah.
Oh, go on, let me. I've had a really boring day so far. I haven't got up anybody's nose.
I find that very hard to believe.
Here you are, Mum.
What is this, an old bus ticket?
It's a note from Miss Blunden. It's actually addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Grayshot. But I think she means you and Bill. She's been sorting out stores for the fete on Saturday.
Let me see. Yes, I'm doing the coconut shy as usual.
Ever get the feeling you're being typecast?
Oh, great. She's given Bill the record store. Well, that's wonderful. How did she know he liked music?
She didn't. It was either that or hats and handbags.
Well, you made the right choice, Joe. Take that bag off the table, go and get something to eat. Oh, what's that?
Oh, just a video. I borrowed it from Barry.
What's it called?
I can't remember. Something to do with marine biology.
Let's have a look.
Oh, right. It's called Night of the Killer Jellyfish.
Oh, your amnesia didn't last long.
It's one of those appalling pieces of horror junk, isn't it?
I thought we might sit down and watch it together and discuss it afterwards.
Whatever gave you that idea?
Well, I did it with Bill when we watched Revenge of the Globules.
Well, I'm not Bill.
You can say that again.
What you do with Bill and what you do with me are two entirely different things.
You see, Joe, it's because Bill is a normal, reasonable human being who allows us to hold opinions, whereas Mum
Is a typical mother.
Could I have a lemonade, please? Thank you. What are you doing here?
Having a beer. It's a beer tent.
There's no one on your stall.
That's because I've sold all my stock.
Well, still stacks of records there.
I know, I'm going to pick them all up later.
What?
I've sold them to me.
Did you want them all?
No.
What'd you buy them for, then?
I have bought them because...
Bill, keep your voice down.
I have bought them because I am sick and tired of being called Mr. Grayshot by everyone.
It's a natural mistake.
And it didn't help that your Miss Blundell put up a sign saying Grayshot's groovy gramophone records all over the store.
Well, teachers don't always know the family circumstances. She'd probably forgotten I was divorced.
And what is worse than being mistaken for your ex-husband is the fact that someone even said Joe took after me.
What's wrong with that?
He was stuffing 2 hot dogs down his throat at the time.
Forget this daft idea about buying all the records. Go back to your stall and sell them properly.
Are you saying I bought them improperly?
You're not entering into the spirit of things.
It's only money. It doesn't matter how they get it.
Of course it does. If we all wrote cheques, there'd be no point in having a fete at all.
Sounds like a sensible idea to me. The right attitude won't buy a mountain climbing wall for the new gym. Money will.
A fete gives everyone the chance to join in. I wanted everyone to get to know you.
All they got to know was Mr. Grayshot.
I think you're altogether making far too much of this. Come on. Come on. Come and guess the way to the village.
Oh, tingle.
Hi. I tell you what. Why don't you come and take it out on my coconuts?
Faith, please, they're a children.
Oh, coconuts are my ex-husband. Please yourself. Vicar?
But careful with that stuff, Joe.
Oh, junk anyway.
Not all.
But there's no In Excess or The Farm.
They were hardly born when most of these records were released.
Escaped.
No, you can't put them in there. Put them on the back seat. I'm trying to sort through this stuff.
This bloke looks a bit of a prat.
Tiny Tim. Yes, he was a bit of a prat. Cathy's clown by the Everly Brothers. Reminds me of my first date.
Did you take her for a walk to watch Stonehenge being built?
Joe?
So matter, Bill? You will?
Look at this.
Is it another prat?
No, it's not another prat. This is Elvis Presley.
Oh, I've heard of him,
That's all right, Mama, backed with Blue Moon of Kentucky.
if you say so.
This is an original American song recording. It's worth a few bob.
Is it?
And it's in my hands.
Our hands.
I can't believe that this could just turn up at a school fete.
My school fate.
Well, doesn't everyone know what these are worth by now?
Doesn't look like it. But we know Bill, don't we? What is it worth?
It's hard to tell. 200 or 300 quid.
What, enough for a racing bike?
A racing bike?
I recommended you to this record store, Bill, so technically, I'm entitled to a share in the profits.
Well, it's certainly in pretty good condition.
So what do we do then? Sell it to a dealer? We don't have to tell Mum and Hannah. They'll only want to buy curtains or get their hair done.
We're giving it back, Joe.
What?
I can't keep this and live with my conscience.
Well, I'll keep it. I can live with your conscience.
No, it's not right. We're putting it up for auction for the school funds.
Bill, I thought we got a result there.
We have. We've got a mountain climbing wall for the school gym.
I'm not convinced you're doing the right thing.
Neither am I.
You don't have to do this just to impress me. I don't expect you to be the shining example. Mum does all that stuff.
I'm not, Joe. Believe me, I'm not doing it for effect. Only I better do it damn quick before I change my mind.
I'm just trying to see if I can throw in a straight line.
Well, you can't. The coconut's over there.
I must be able to hit one coconut at least.
I've just seen Rebecca.
Who's Rebecca?
You know, Jane's sister. She's doing English at Hull.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she says it's great.
Does she?
Yeah, she's really glad she decided to go. She was like me, went off the whole idea of university after her A-levels.
There you are, you see?
But she says it's really wild. Nobody does any work. She's hardly had any sleep all year because there's a party every night.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go there.
So I thought maybe I've been a bit hasty.
Oh, I don't think you have at all.
But it sounds really good fun at university.
You're supposed to go there to study.
So I'll probably go.
And you expect me to support you for 3 years while you have a good time?
Well, I thought you wanted me to go.
Did I? Yes, I did, didn't I?
Why is it parents never know what they want?
Bill? You're looking a bit pale.
It's the shock, holding a Presley Sun recording in my hand and giving it away.
Yes, it could have gone towards paying for Hannah's college education.
Hang on a second, that was an ethical decision. Don't say you don't agree with me.
Of course I do. I'm very proud of you.
Are you?
Yes. You didn't have to do it, and it was a wonderful example to Joe.
I didn't do it. It's a wonderful example.
I know. Oh, I'm sorry I was a bit ratty earlier.
A bit ratty.
Well, it's very demanding running a coconut shy, you know.
Is this your career's opportunity lecture? Huh? By the way, Joe bought a video with that $5 I gave him.
Oh?
Vegetarian vampires.
No, not another one of those mindless ex-certificate, stupid, gratuitous...
Faith, think about it.
Think about what?
Vegetarian vampires.
What about them?
Vampires can't be vegetarians, can they?
Can't they?
Of course not. It's a comedy.
Yes. Very funny.
We'll all watch it together,
Then talk about it afterwards.
like a proper family.
Well, I must say, it's nice to see a proper family. Hello, Mrs. Grayshaw.
Hello, Mr. Roper.
And you
Bill,
must
this is Mr. Roper, Joe's headmaster.
I'm glad I called you because I wanted to thank you personally for that very generous donation, that very valuable record to our auction, Mr. Grayshaw.
Oh, no, he's
It's
not...
made a tremendous difference to our school fund. It's actually brought a bit of excitement to the afternoon.
Well, I'm glad it was useful, Mr. Roper, and it was quite exciting for me, finding it.
You see,
But the thing is, Mr. Roper, my name is not Grayshot. It's McGregor. Bill McGregor.
Oh, really? I don't know how that misunderstanding came about.
Oh, it's an easy mistake to make, I'm told.
I actually mentioned Mr. Grayshot's name at the auction. Yeah, perhaps if you see him, you could explain how I got him mixed up with you.
Well,
It's all
actually,
right,
you see-
Faith. Of course, Mr. Roper. I'll see he gets the message.